right, everybody, welcome to the stream. Welcome to the close. Daniel saying here, everyone thinks this is a false bull break, so you know the market is going long, lol. Yeah, I don't think it's a false bull break. I'm not sure where everyone's getting that idea from. Welcome to the stream. We're going to be talking about, of course, the stock market into the close. We'll talk about commodities, and we'll also talk about cryptos today. It seems to be a pretty good day across the board. We've had cryptos kind of move a little bit from yesterday, though Bitcoin has fallen slightly recently. And the stock market's been where the action's at. We can see here the large gap up due to the news. And of course, then the rally that ensued. And we had a suspicion this would probably be happening based on yesterday's closure anyway. And then the big news was that it looks like we had some kind of vaccine working thing. I guess that's what they're using as the reason. Does it matter? Not really. The main thing here is that we're seeing a market that has broken the resistance and has moved through. So people are saying false break, it's all over, it's coming back down. Look, there's a chance it fills. We know that with the statistics, in fact, I might put it in today's video, the gap fill statistics, so when we see actual gap fills, tend to be quite fast. So it usually happens in the first couple of days, if not first week. And if that gap doesn't fill in the first week, it may never fill or it may take a very long time to fill. Remember, the stats really drop away in the first 30 days, and it could take years to fill those gaps. So we need to always remember it takes a long time sometimes to fill these gaps. But if it's going to fill, it'll fill in the next couple of days. Let's look at all the available information. So let's jump out to the daily here. Daily closure above. I mean, I don't see how this is negative in any way, shape, or form, and how this can be construed as false breaking at this point. It's a big, strong day. It had rally throughout the session. I mean, we're up 1.73% here on the US 500, and it's come off the weekly 20 at the right time of the year in the right time of the area. Now, does it come back through and then bounce? That is the question we'll have to ask ourselves, and we have to really look at the available information, again, the time of the year, and whether the information keeps rolling through as being a positive for the markets. So that'll be a big deal here. So yeah, that's right exactly where we expect. And then, of course, this is the big one. So when it comes back, if it does, this 20 moving average, we now expect it to be dynamic support of some kind. So you've got to really be looking at what kind of gap do you expect? Do you expect a gap all the way back down to the low, or do you expect just this bit here to fill? That's going to be another question that people ask ourselves. Let's go to the US 100. US 100, very strong, 2.62%. It's completely busted the head and shoulders pattern. And as I expected, and I think many people of the community expected, the problem with head and shoulders patterns or any of these type of patterns, especially to the negative side, is that at the wrong time of the year, at the wrong time of seasonality, at the wrong time of everything else, and especially depending on the news that pushes it through, they can give you a lot of false breakouts to the negative side. Now, if it was an inverse head and shoulders, do we think this has a higher chance of success? The answer is yes, because the markets are geared towards the optimism side. So just remember, even if you see a pattern like this, it might look really solid, and it did, but it is completely busted now. That is a destroyer. I mean, many people will say it won't be busted till we get past 16.5. Technically, that's true. This could still turn around and short off, and therefore the stops would be holding for the shorters. But I think the bears have really lost out today, and that's because of the nature of the news. That's the big thing here. The nature of the news. Is Disney done going down? We can have a look at Disney, man. Everyone likes Disney all of a sudden just because it fell. There's other stocks out there that have done quite well. Let's have a look through some of these stocks. So biotech doing incredibly well today. 13.3% on Beam. Edit 9.64%. ARCG up 7. Let me just say this. ARCG is up 7.26%. NVIDIA up 7.04%. Wow. Big days. Square up 5.35. Apple at a new all-time high at later on today. It was at 171.61. Amazon's 3517. Huge close for it. Very nice. This is exactly where you want it to close. I mean, we would love it above here as well, but this is a nice movement. indecision's kind of gone. It's back above the moving averages. Fantastic. Very strong day for it. And we had quite a few other stocks doing well. Let's keep scrolling through here. NBAC's up 27.93%. Wow. Big day. Net back up 6. AMC up 7 just because it felt like it. One of my indices, let's have a look where we're at now. 10 up 3.43%. Still not back above this 90 yet, but we'll find out whether it does do that. So pretty big sessions here. That's a little scary for Square. I think day traders might have been happy with themselves, but coming back up to this 192, that could be resistance there. So be careful on that one. But yes, certainly huge day. 2.6% on the NAS. You can see what happens. Let's have a look at the IWM, 2.16%. So it's moved up and then it's sold a little bit off the bottom of this old trend line. So 200 moving average, 20 moving average, all of these types of things. Still a good closure out. Do I expect the next session to be red? That's probably, you would guess probably yes. What's the community think though? Next session, red or green, guys? What do you think? Derek 4 with a million zeros 4 says, hi, Tom. Hong Kong, $25. Thank you very much. Hi, Tom with a million zeros. I am crazy for joining your stream at 4:40 a.m. local time. It's pretty crazy, but not obscene. I've gotten up that time for the US market, so don't worry. Also, what's your take on Trip? Thank you. Okay, let's have a look at Trip. Trip Advisor. Yeah, so Trip was... Well, Trip is very disappointing. So a lot of these ones are down hard. And this is probably a sector that you want to be looking at. Now, I can't explain exactly the fundamentals on Trip because I haven't looked at the reports. I know that it had a bad earnings over here. We were looking at it at one stage for a breakout above 38. Never happened before the earnings. It's at a point of pretty damn good previous resistance and previous support, and it's bounced off that level. Now, it's hit the 20 today, and so obviously sold off that zone. It is kind of disappointing where it's been, but I think that if this news is true, if this whole Omicron variant thing or whatever you want to say is relatively dealt with due to vaccines or just due to it being a weaker strain or whatever, I know a lot of people fight with me about this, but I just see it as a fairly big deal. We'll leave it there. And why I say that is because it could allow even bigger amounts of travel to open up faster and all of this kind of stuff to go behind us. You can see the damage that it did to this stock instantly, just got smashed straight down. We've got a trend line here that's really fantastic. So we've got a great trend line. We've got a great resistance, support, movement up. And now we look for the lightning bolt through. So it is around the right area. I mean, I don't hate the idea of Trip, but I would look into the fundamentals and just see how it's actually making business and whether it was losing business already coming into this pandemic style situation. See how it's already been declining now for years? I think that's a big problem here. It's had that big run up and then it's declined heavily. It's declined again before the pandemic lows, and then it rallied just because everyone was crazy about it. These types of stocks, though, are the ones that you would be wanting to look at because as more information comes out, you can see how big a support this is. Very nice, Derek. Justin Sands, $5. Any chance you could show us the levels we should look at buying puts on the VIXY? Well, you probably shouldn't do that, Justin Sands. The problem with buying puts on the VIX or even trading the VIX in general is it obviously is highly volatile. You're paying a fortune for it at the moment. And it isn't really a great trade. You don't really want to technically trade this. I've said this many times. I talk about it on the channel where we break past 20 and that's a big deal. And we break below 20 and that's a big deal. The way, if you're going to trade the VIX, the way you actually trade it is by finding S&P 500 supports. So you find S&P 500 supports. And when that support is broken, you know it's a big deal because you know that there's a statistical likelihood, let's say, that support being broken pushes us down to, let's say, on the left-hand side, the next support. if you believe that's going to happen, guess what's going to happen as this goes through the key support? The VIX is going to explode because it's going to a new point that it hasn't seen recently. And when that happens, you get fear and you get that spike up in the position. We did use the 15 as a level of, okay, yes, we could buy potentially, if you were looking at options, you could buy calls at that zone. And in general, with the VIX, anytime it's above these 30s, I mean, if you're buying short-dated puts, that would be one of the zones where you could definitely look at it. Because how often does it get above here? Let's just go back in time. Not often at all. And when it's up there, look what happens. Tends to not be there for very long. Only during epic crashes does it go up for a while. And this doesn't seem to be an epic crash time. So here's the GFC. Here's the pandemic. Almost every other one except for this, I think that was the European solvency crisis stuff. Other than that area there, almost every single one has been 1 to 2 weeks. So 30 would be another line you would look at quite closely. I don't trade it technically, but if you do, and you want to buy puts, you would be looking for a heavy support. That heavy support in this case would have been the S&P 500 again, and you'd be looking at that 4,500 for the put level. Thank you very much for the question, but yeah, I don't suggest the VIX for many people. It's crazy, and it's very difficult. So you guys have been saying red, sideways. We are never red. Bulls forever. Halt green, says Josh. Halt green. So yes. Only way to trade VIX is the futures. Yeah, otherwise people would just buy 12 on the VIX, hold it up, and then basically would always go up. So yeah, the futures are there for a reason on that particular market. It's also kind of like saying you could trade coffee and you could think coffee's going up and you could be right. But just remember, there's a lot of roll costs that go in the coffee contract. So coffee's not cheap to roll over a very long period of time. It really isn't. Thank you for the 500 or actually 600 people that are joining us for the close. The story today is that US 500, US 100, obviously IWM and all of these are spiking fairly hard. I would think that we probably do have a bit of a turnaround story tomorrow, as in a little bit of a pullback before we hopefully resume upward trends. This is a very big day. That doesn't mean you necessarily have to go, oh, I'm going to sell. I mean, obviously it depends on what your system is, whether it's a day trade system and that's it, or whether it's a hold and long system. If you try to get too cute with the market, it could very easily also continue rallying with more good news. And we don't know what's going to happen there. The IWM is probably the index that's least performing overall. It's still got a lot of upside potential, and it's got a big breakout here on it today. You can see how it's interacted with this zone. But again, day traders will be looking at it, I think, like here, to then fill that gap on the upside. So that'll be another interesting one. We'll cover this in the video later on. Let's move over to gold. Gold still very disappointing here. Gold not really doing much. It's just trading exactly where it pretty much was, 1786. Not enough information here out of gold yet, so we'll continue to watch that. And one of the other performers that was pretty good was US oil. I mean, US oil had a nice rally here. We suspected as much based on our base formation, and it rallied up very hard. Let's just get the percentage from yesterday. So it rallied about 5%. Very nice movement here on oil. I found oil to be one of the easier trades recently. It's now hit this previous little resistance over here, pulling back. You probably expect it to pull back like this, and then once it breaks through there, happy days, we continue to move up. And the next big zone is going to be around 75.50-ish, I think. So a little while away. I mean, percentage-wise from here, that's about 5.5% up again. Pretty good. Anyone in oil at the moment? In the black gold? Thanks very much, Silverliner. Appreciate that. Make sure to hit the like button. Yes, it does help us out a lot if you guys do it. It does help us out. I think a large bearish move is coming sooner than most of us think. I think the large bear move is more likely to be 2022, but that's just my opinion. It's not based on much other than seasonality and the time of year and all of those types of things. The discussion points of next year, obviously this year has been all about inflation. Next year will most likely become a big discussion about tax and a big discussion about interest rates. So that's how I see it. 2022, that'll be the boring discussion that we get. It's time of year as well that everyone starts putting their predictions in. So let's get your predictions. We might do this a few times. What's your prediction? End of 22, December and 31st, 2022. Where is the S&P 500 going to be at? Chat, let me know. So it's 1 year away. Where do you think the S&P 500 will be at? Give us your predictions right now. So right now it's trading at 4,671. TLT bonds back down into support, kind of almost breaking down underneath the support, right around that area. Again, a good thing to see here. If you are a market bull, you want these bonds to drop back down a little bit here. That would be nice. And US 10-year continues to rise here, but it's still so low compared to where it was a few weeks ago. So as a raw percentage, the 10-year is down 14.37% in terms of how much upside it's got. Percy Henderson says S&P 500 to 2,700. Wow, that's low. That's low. Kevin Roney says 474, but I assume that means SPY. Gabe says 17,000. I think he means the Nasdaq. Greg Hartman says 5K. Daniel W 5,375, 4875, 4,800 coming in. So you guys think that it's not going to move more than 150 points for a year? We're talking 2022, not 2021. 5,000, 5,000, 5,050. And Huey just says extremely high. And a few people are just going with stats saying 7 to 10% higher. Yeah, I think that's probably fair. A lot of you guys are coming in at 5K. That's going to be where most people guess the market to be at. So most people will guess it to be about 5K. There are reasons for that. So let's firstly bring in where we are currently and where it'll be. That's a 7% gain from current price. Now, on average years, I think about 7 to 8% is pretty much what the S&P 500 will do. Now, because this is an average, we're going into post-pandemic, post-stimulus, post-everything, we expect the market to slow down, and therefore we have to use slightly different strategies. You're not always going to be seeing 2.52%, 1.7% per day. You're going to go more down to the 0.5, the 0.6, the 0.2 even sometimes. These days look boring in principle, but actually day traders will do quite well off them because they'll be looking for smaller moves, admittedly, but more consistent TA, less crazy news, hopefully. This is what the expectation is. Most people are going to call 5K, I'd say. But they'll be calling 5K with a 10 to 15% correction. This is the expectation of 2022. Gary Saini says, we either drop 20% like 2018 or this is like 1982 where we drop 30%-ish. Ooh. I don't know if we want to drop 30%-ish. Trend is your friend? Bullish, says Kevin Roney. Okay. Sometimes it has to go back to real fundamentals, says Casimirs. Well, the thing is that a lot of stocks aren't as obscene as we think anymore. Some are, but some certainly aren't. I mean, you look at something like a Roku, it's really down hard. It's 200. Now, is this a rip-off stock anymore? Well, it's a lot less rip-off than it was. 2019 was up 172. That was pretty expensive. You've got to think that the company's doing better than it was doing in 2019 based on the pandemic. And it's trading back down at 199. Zoom is similar. Square is similar. There are a lot of stocks, TDOC's back down. You know, there are a lot of stocks that haven't performed very well. I mean, look, even PayPal's come back down to where it was August, September. So these have gotten wiped quite a lot. And you might say, but Tom, you know, Apple is up and it's stupid price. Apple justified it to a degree. It almost went into a second phase of growth zone. So yeah, I think that this is not as obscene as we believe. It's obscene, but not as obscene as some people think. I saw Charlie Munger said the market is crazier now than it was during the late 90s. I'm not sure about that. Is Charlie, what do you guys think? Do you reckon it's crazier than during the 90s, the late 90s, the tech boom, when we had half the market being random tech companies? Which is crazier, then or now? Lol, Piton came back to earth. Yeah, I mean, let's have a look at Piton. 41.61. Thank goodness I never liked this stock. You know why? No moat. No moat, guys. Moat is a big word. Ranger A says, then by far. Andy Penny says, don't know, wasn't born yet. You still need to half understand it. It's pretty important, Andy. But get back there. So much more cash out there that has to find a home. That's a good point. Market is not overvalued. We have had sector corrections. We have certainly had sector or small area corrections. Yep. And no crazier than the 90s. Yeah, I don't think so. Totcom was crazier. Piton ranting coming. No, it's okay. We've already dealt with Piton before. We've already analyzed the fact that this stock has very little moat and that the AbCrunch 2000 or whatever they sell is not new technology, okay? When you sell an AbCruncher on television, it's a fad. Even if it's good, it has its time in the sun, and then people get bored of it. And that's what's happening here. People would rather go to the gym. People would rather go to hang out with friends and do running or whatever the hell they can do, especially after the pandemic. I don't believe this is at these prices, it's certainly much more fair. But it's still worth, you've got to remember, $13.61 billion. So it's not cheap. All right, are there any great close trades here? I'm just having a look through. I mean, there's a lot of trades that have gone up. I think sectors like, how much is, not that I like this one, but let's have a look at I'm just interesting. Let's see, CCL. Yeah, so a lot of these travel stocks are really belted. Again, they've gone down heavily. Now, remember, this particular pandemic news, I'm only using this as an example. I'm not saying this is the good one because I don't like this company at all. But CCL or any of these types of ones, do you think this is a sector that's going to do well over the next couple of months? What do you guys think here? The reason why I say that the dot-com boom was more crazy was because companies had literally no backbone at all. Like they didn't even have a business model. They might have had no earnings, and you can draw similarities to now, but they had no business model, no scalability model. It was just absolutely useless. Pets.com, pets.com, pets.com. Tom, can you explain why rising rates will affect stocks? Well, the general consensus is that if you have debt on a stock and that stock has to then service the debt and the rates go up, then obviously it's going to hit their profits. And that tends to be on growth stocks the most. Also, often when you get rising rates, there's less bit of a lockdown on cash flow, and that cash flow or people lending, and that can also stunt the ability to raise capital for tech or growth stocks. Tesla came off 1,000, seems to be going up okay. Though I would say, even though this was a pretty easy trade, getting off 1,000 with that day, especially with the daily where it was. Let's just have a look here. Here's the daily. It's a bit disappointing. Even 4% is great, but I would like a 6% out of this today. Another one that showed us the recovery. There's the movement. Man, Tesla's been very energetic both ways, percentage-wise. Gary says, I expect 3 to 4 hikes. 4 is absolute max, but 3 for sure. So Bloomberg was going with 2 priced in, 3 possibly. 4 would be extreme, I think. I think the only way we'd get 4 hikes for 2022 is if the inflation component continued to run away. We'll see, Gary. You could be right. Kim.com, that's right. Mega upload or whatever it was. Pino says, Tommy, you said you were waiting for Square to go under 220. Yeah, I was. That's true. I was 220. I had a little line here. And then I was angling in at this zone here. But see, the problem is that if I wanted to invest, I mean, all these levels are good, yeah? If I want to trade, I have to wait for the turnaround story. And that's a bit of a problem with Square. Like, I mean, if you want to invest, then yeah, I mean, these levels here were pretty solid and you're almost back there within a day, which is nice. My problem with Square is just the implementation. I don't understand why we're still not implementing title and things. And that as an investment, you've got to consider these things. Remember, investment's not just TA. It comes in with fundamentals. You have to use both. Trading, you don't you care about fundamentals. You don't care at all. When you trade and you're doing a day trade, why do you need to care about what if the company's good or not? You're in it for a day or you're in it for a couple of days. As long as you're not around earnings, you really don't need to worry about it too much. All fintech got clapped. Yeah, all fintech got really belted. And it got belted to a percentage that you'd think, wow, this is a sector that's now of interest. I mean, it was down 41.11% off the top. That's a considerable amount of discount. I'm not saying it gets back here anytime soon, but it's a considerable amount of discount. So we closed there. Let's have a look at the closure. It seems like everything went up into the close. So here's the 10-minute, just so we can see it. It's actually a little trend here. Look at this. That's a steep one. So Wall Street bought the close. We'll bring up the chart so you guys can see it. That is not today's chart. Let me bring this up. Pretty strong moves here. I mean, you got to just look at it and go, wow, it's impressive stuff. So here's the chart. Here's the NDX. And of course, where we are currently. So Nasdaq purchased into the close, IWM purchased into the close, S&P 500, amazing, 2.11%, and the Dow purchased in the close. So all that selling, and then just near the end, Wall Street go, ha, we got slightly cheaper price. Yes, pushed up 0.4% on the Nasdaq in that last 5 minutes. I don't think this is not the real deal, guys. I think it's pretty significant. This is exactly what we were looking for, exactly our plan for the week. I hope some of you were able to instigate it. I mean, did you guys instigate it? Did anyone instigate the concepts of the trading education components, the TA? Did anyone see the double bottom? The base here? Very interested to see whether people did see this. All the bears are about to get clapped. They are in late on the downside every time. I'm honest. I would be flabbergasted if people were trying to short today. It's a tough market to short in. It's not the time of year traditionally to get the short in. It's too difficult to short at this stage of the year. Now, if you come back to me and you said, oh, but Tom, I shorted over here and did quite well, this is a good time to short. Are you going to short any of this period? Ideally not. Are you going to short maybe a March period, Feb, March next year? If it goes, I think that's a very fair time to have a crack at the market towards the short side. Use the stats, use the seasonality to your favor to a degree. Tom, what do you think of Hood? It's down 50% since first invested, and I'm wondering if I should maybe DCA it at the current levels. Thanks. Oh man. You obviously weren't watching the trade, weren't watching the stream back then. What do I think of Hood? Can someone in the chat? Oh, damn, dude. I didn't even know where it was. Okay, my opinion of Hood. I'll give you the brutal opinion, and then I'll tell you what I think about it. It's an ICO No, not ICO. IPO, so it sucks. Okay. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. IPOs in the US suck in tech. They're terrible. If you get in before the IPO and you somehow are a pre-investor, fantastic. If you then get the initial rush, fantastic. But when do you have to come back? 12 to 18 months later. It always works this way. This is the nature. Look at Snap, look at Facebook, look at Twitter, look at whatever else you want to look at. Pretty much, predominantly, most of these tech companies absolutely suck. Now, is it low enough? Certainly getting down there. 2278. I don't know the fundamentals on this. I don't exactly know what it's growing by or any of those things. I assume it makes basically $0 on the nature, because it's really a race to try to get as many people as possible into the platform. But at these points, you're starting to say, well, you've held it for so long. How long's it been out for now? Is that it? Is that all the time we've had? August. Wow. I forgot about it so fast. You're looking for like double bottoms. Surely there'll be some resurgence. What is this? $19.54 billion. So, Robinhood is worth basically the same amount of money as Peloton. I'd probably rather have Robinhood than Peloton. But yeah, this is currently a falling knife. I can't tell you what to do, but I do want to just warn you of the idea of buying IPOs again when they're tech. I say this all the time. If you get that initial rally, fantastic, but they are deadly. And you can see it here on the chart, guys, how bad they are. Again, look up all the others. You'll see them all. They're all the same. It's horrid. So now we're looking for a double bottom. We're looking for a lightning bolt. We're looking for some turnaround. I'd be very into the fundamentals here on this one. They come back to it. Gordon Poljak Sec 109. Hey, Tom. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. Bought DOT at 27 yesterday for a second auction batch, 23121103. Have you participated in the first auctions? No, I haven't. I do have some strange coins, like a car. Well, I have a Kala, I think it is. Yeah, I've got a Kala, but I haven't. I don't get fandangled in all these fandangly things. I'm a bit old. A boomer of crypto here, guys. Boomer crypto. I like DOT a lot, but I'm not involved in any of that type of stuff. Thank you very much, Gordon. Appreciate it. Retail traders hating Robinhood and wanting to go bankrupt would likely be a blow to all retail traders. That is true. That is true. Oh my goodness. Tom, talk Evergrande. I talked Evergrande several times, Duncan Dave. My thought on Evergrande remains the same. CEO dude paid over 1 billion USD. As far as I'm concerned, that's a smiley face for investors. It tells CEO dude and all other CEO dudes that have done bad things, don't do it, we'll bankrupt you. That's the precedent so that we now can bail Evergrande. So as far as I see it, that's as simple as it is. Now, long term, is this where explosion happens in the market? My answer is yes. I think it's very bad. It's the real deal, guys, and it would be everywhere. It'd be everywhere, and I'm not just talking like in China. It would be in so many economies right now. The start signs of all the things that were bad in the GFC are already starting to appear, but it takes many years for it to play out. So that is where the big problem will be. Guess what's happening in housing across the world? It's becoming a bigger bubble. I don't think anyone will probably disagree with me here in the chat on that. Do we all agree that housing is a giant bubble? Doesn't mean it's going down tomorrow. But do you guys think that housing's in a giant bubble long term? Good to have you here, Johnny Bravo. Gold and silver. We had a look at that a while ago. Mark Wilkins says silver stock AG seems to be semi-safe support. maybe double bottom potential. Yeah, so you just want to look at something like silver itself. You can see there is some buying here. Little wicks. Silver's getting ready. Day traders will be watching this zone above here. So let me just show you the 2 hour. The 2 hour here. There we go. Very nice. So we have previous support, resistance, resistance right around there. And you've got a base accumulation. So you're looking for it to close above and then hopefully start rallying. That's the idea. You do have a bit of a base. So with the hood question before or later, is yeah, there are lessons to be learnt there. R-Dash says, Tom, I bought your course. Thanks for the great course. Appreciate it. R-Dash, thank you very much. That's the best thing I bought in best thing I bought after I earned some money in the stock market. Fantastic. Now you just got to keep going, implement some of the ideas and concepts, and hopefully make even more money in the stock market. Fantastic, man. Look, it's always a pursuit for consistent, always learning something new. I learnt where Hood was today. It just reaffirmed why I don't buy IPOs unless I'm in them for the first couple of days. It's always consistency. That's what we're looking for. Italian Milty Friedman says, you guys look at a price and if it's high, you say bubble. Really? No, housing's a bubble. Come on, Milty Friedman. Housing is a bubble, bro. It's a bubble. It's bad. It's not going anytime soon. You could get into lots of things like that. And like housing could go for another 5, 6, 7 years easily. But it's the only market that's so big that no one can really save it if it goes. More demand than supply in housing, that isn't a bubble. Right now, you've got to then look at the risks associated with it. Low interest rates are one component. And then, of course, you've got to look at it versus people's actual income. And it will get out of control. So, yeah, I agree with you and disagree with you. Right now, I'm not worried about it. But remember, why should you, even when people say something's in a bubble, does it crash when it's in a bubble? The answer is no. It crashes when everyone feels like it's not in a bubble anymore and it will just continuously go forever. So I'm not saying it crashes this year, next year, the year after, or the year after that. I just think that that's the big thing where you've got a big problem. So that's my thoughts on Evergrande right now. It's pretty sweet. I think it's okay. My personal opinion, you can make your own decisions on that type of stuff. 3D home printers are on the rise. I think you're having fun there, Eric. That's good. I like that. And then Milton Freedom says, I get you. Yeah, I think we're on the same page here. We're on the same page. We're all on the same page. The community is big brain. We're smart. Let's move over to the Bitcoin markets, the cryptocurrencies. So Bitcoin itself has gone through our little resistance yesterday, had a nice little rally there after that point, hit 52K, came off 52K. I guess that's just that psychological barrier from the previous, wherever it was, little resistance over here. Not too concerned about that. You can see now it's actually buying off this support. Hopefully we can get some further rally through. We're then looking at 54K for Bitcoin at this stage. That would be where I'd like it to go. 54K, right around there. We got some issues. This is where we should be on our way to the promised land of 54K. Now, someone mentioned before they bought DOT. And if they bought DOT, they had probably a giant brain because DOT was cheap. I mean, how much did it actually go up? So we were talking about it on this level. Let's go to the weekly. DOT was a little cheap for a big coin. Look at these weeklies. Imagine if this closes bullish. Big wicks coming off the zone, previous resistance, previous supports, 50 moving average. Scroll down to the daily here. Nice bullish hammer. Fantastic. Very cool. And we were talking about it around this zone. So yeah, I mean, from the top to the bottom, it's about 17% move. It's probably, and that's not from the bottom. That's just from the line we had yesterday. So it's quite a large movement on this coin, considering how big it is. Another one that's broken through, pulling back, finding some kind of buying pressure, and hopefully continues to rally. Big problems, probably around $33 for DOT. Matic doesn't really care about the rest of the market right now. It's just trading above. Not a huge fan of this coin, but I put it in yesterday because you guys like it. Breakout daily would be a big deal. But we still have problems. I mean, 250 plus seems to be the target that we need to get to really have an explosion in Matic again. Look at the market cap on this one, a pretty big deal. Neon 1, 449. Bought Disney today. Good value play. Probably, yes. I'm nearly all in crypto and buying a normal stock was scary. How is it scary? Neon, come on now. How is buying a normal stock scary when you're in crypto? Oh man. You should be. This is a walk in the park compared to what you're generally doing in crypto. Crypto market, you drop 20-30% in the day. Most stocks, that's unheard of, other than hypers. You think Apple drops 20% in the day very often? No. Yeah, it's a good level for Disney. Look, it's in our green zone. We like the green zone. Disney's trading back at where it was pre-pandemic. 2020 early price, 2019 price. That's fantastic. We get that turnaround story hopefully now, and there's a big fill area here. So we've got a fill area to 169. So that would be very nice to have a participation here. Not a super strong day for it. I mean, it was up only a little bit. You're probably buying more of something that might take a little while. Remember, a stock that was going bullish and then turned bearish because the market came down in general will often recover faster. So they're the ones that recover faster. But we're looking for a little bit of a pullback now and then hopefully a movement through. That would be fantastic. Don't be scared. And some fairly quality stock. And you've at least found a bit of a base here, which is good. Lala says FX Evolution housing is just going to get more expensive the further into the future. There's literally nothing to stop it. Untrue. Besides W word of some sort. Lul. No. There is something stopping it, and it's called when you get out of control and you start pulling the credit back. When you have to pull the credit back, that's what stops it. But we don't need to discuss that for years, so it's okay. We can come back in 5 years and have a discussion point. Andy Pandy, $5. Tom, give the HNT a look, mate. My mate of mine got in at 0.18. Lol, he's off the grid now. Okay. I assume this is some kind of coin that's up a lot. He's off the grid, so that means he's done. He's on a boat somewhere in the Guatemalas. And he got in at 0.18. When the hell was that? Really? 0.18 happened here? Maybe pre-ICO. Well, congratulations to him. That's very nice. Now what he has to do is just make sure that he doesn't hold everything in his coin, so he actually does have money in the future, just in case it doesn't go well. All right. Yes, I mean it's recovering. It's clearly got some pretty big memory because it moved fairly hard off that base. It's a bit weaker this time around. So we had the low, came back up, retested this. So a big breakout level will be about that 36. Just here. Let's go to a weekly. Okay. I mean, it looks kind of like all the other coins. As long as, look, the thing with coins is if the big ones are moving up, inadvertently, most of your smaller ones will also be going up. 8-hour 20s holding it back, possibly a long leg doji here. That might be a breakout you want. Not much I can see here, Andy Pandy. It's pretty tough TA. Mostly I would go with news-driven coin or just general kind of lie of the land. Everything goes up, and then this one just gets, good attention because previously it's been doing quite well. Seems to be more of a news trade. Russell J. Regia, $4.99. Tesla, LCID, XPEV, NEO, TSM, and extra bullish on CRO, the CRO gang hashtag. All right. So you like cars, electric batteries, semiconductors, and CRO. There's nothing wrong with lots of cars, but I guess it's probably a portfolio there is many cars. How is old LCID going? Is that thing dropping yet? It's still holding pretty well. I think Lucid is a scary stock personally. 72 billion. Wow. Amazing. But I can't say I understand this, so you're probably more knowledgeable than I am on it. TSM, semiconductor company. Nice little support there. This breach seems to be very tough for TSM to get through. So we'll look at the daily here. Still looking for that 124 to get above. Really good coil here. One of the underperforming semiconductors. Still looks pretty cool on the TA. Good luck, Russell. I wish you the best, and I hope all of your things go up. And CRO, that's crypto, isn't it? I won't say I know anything about this particular coin because I don't. So therefore, I can't comment on it very much. But I think it's getting close to having a really nice breakthrough back to the upside, like a lot of these coins. So good luck there. Neon says, I don't believe I actually own the Disney stock, though, because there's no staking. Staking's a little scary, though. Just remember that, Neon. I mean, getting 20% a year to put something down and just like lend it to somebody else. Wowzers. IOTA. Irene, I've seen you really love this, so we have to have a look for you. IOTA. So based on the left-hand side, you probably know what I'm going to say about IOTA. It is choppy, to say the least. This project is very choppy. Has runs on it, has huge dumps. It's been traveling around. It is on a kind of like a level of support, which is good. But the problem is you've then got to set your expectations. So do I like the current TA? I mean, yeah, it's fine. Here's your resistance. Looking for a breakout past that. But I don't really love the left-hand side. It hasn't shown us that it's in a great trending market. It's just kind of in a sideways market, even during bull times. I think that's one of the problems. Scott Morgan, $5. LLY has some pretty good candles in the past 2 days. What's the bull story for the chart? We'll have a look at that one. LLY. And we also have a question here from Gareth. It says, hi, Tom, check out Coco's crypto up 65% today. I don't know, Gareth. I'm sure it's good, but we'll just mention it here. Usually those kind of cryptos that go up that much, it's you got to look a lot deeper into them. It's not really a TA-able, unfortunately, for us. LLY, okay. I'll check it out later after the stream. I'll have a look at Coco. Yeah, this is a nice trend line. It's a big trend line. I think I agree with you here, Scott. So you got two kind of nice wicks. You're looking for a breach of this to show momentum, and then day traders come in around this area. And this is Eli Lilly, the company. $234 billion coming off a nice trend line. Yeah, I like it. I like that. I want to see the follow through. So we'll chuck that one in the charts. LLY, it's a good one. Very nice. Thank you very much. Baba. Baba. Hello. Where are you? There we go. 1.57. Nothing's changed here on Baba. I still haven't changed my opinion. I don't like it. I don't see a turnaround yet. Even though it's moved up off the base of 110, we need some actual price action to stick with us. So that'll be a big deal. Thank you very much again, Scott, to go with other ones. Emma K, $2. What are your thoughts about the possible I don't think I can talk about that, Emma. But in general, I don't think that's a thing. Well, I hope it's not. But I'm not an expert in that field, so I think I probably have to leave it, unfortunately. We've got Dikesha D, $3 super sticker. Thank you very much, Diksha. Thank you very much for the $3 super sticker. Appreciate it. And we've got beers and pizza, $2. What are your thoughts on BBY? BBY, Best Buy Co. Yeah, I won't discuss that kind of political, whatever it is, discussion. I just don't want to get into it. Here we have the horizontal line, and this stock has been belted right down here after the earnings. It got bang, bang, bang straight into support. Look, it's here. There's no doubt you've picked a level that it's bought off many, many times before. With a solid stock, that's not bad. It was running in with the hype and anticipation into, of course, Thanksgiving and all of these types of things. And then the market just turned around and it got belted straight back down. So I'd say, look, dividend coming up, good level. You're looking for turnaround story on at least a 4-hour time frame. And we currently don't really have that. We do have some rejection wicks though. So maybe you just wanted to break above here. So we've got a movement up, rejection, rejection. Let's get a closure above this zone. That's what we're looking for. Dikesh says $2 MU and NDM. NNDM. I'll look at MU for you. That's Micron Technologies. Was an underperforming semiconductor stock for a while there. We had the recovery plan on it. At this stage, still looking pretty good. It's moving back up. Got a lot of wick rejections here, so you're looking for a closure above this 87, and then we should be able to rally into 96. So about 87, 88. Once you get a closure daily above here, closure, then that's significant, and we hopefully can rally back to the previous resistances. I quite like MU. I think it's been doing fine. So acting quite technically, nice rally, good bit of consolidation. Breach, big deal, 96. Let's hope so. The other one was NNDM, Nano Dimension. This one, not so good. I think we've done this for you. No, I don't think I ever really liked it. Yeah, look, it's still downtrending. It's more of a guess that this is the bottom. Not enough information yet on this one, unfortunately. Yeah, not enough information. Looking for base formations. Again, lightning bolts. Much better than that. Ideally, inverse head and shoulders. Some form of pattern, some form of accumulation base. Some similar to this type of thing over here, but actually breach up. That's actually a very good, it's a fine accumulation base with the increase in volume and just didn't quite get through that resistance. But if it did, the story may have been completely different. That's the power of TA. It's all about the level that you want to do it there. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We did PayPal before. It's just hovering around the right zone. What is my thoughts on today's gap up? In general, I'll be making a video about it. I think it's very strong. I think the market looks exceptional at this stage due to the news. I think it also shows us how fast this market is, which is a little annoying. I mean, if you're not, like, you miss out on one day, you miss out on a big percentage of the year in gains. I mean, this is one day. One day it's gone from 4,600 to 4,700 on the NAS. It's gone, up 3.21%. And that's just one investable day. If you miss the good days, unfortunately, it can be really detrimental, which sucks. But I think, look, all of the right steps have happened here. We've had double bottom. We've broken through the downward trend. We've breached it. As we discussed, we breached is a big deal. It's followed through, and now we're looking towards maybe having a little bit of a sell-off just to get that gap filled. But that's no guarantee. I mean, there's the gap. We're looking for it to fill and then movement up. That would be actually pretty fantastic if it did happen. But I'll make a video about it soon. watch out for that one, guys. Thank you so much, as usual, for supporting the stream and supporting the channel. And we'll see you very soon with another video and tomorrow for another stream. So lots to discuss, lots of big market action. I hope everything's working well for you, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.